what happens if you take an engineering, a design, and an art student and put them in a single creative space? What would you get? Michal Rinott, the latest purchase of Shenkar, and the founding director of the Kadar Design and Technology Center, studies exactly that. She will give us a first look into the newest lab in Shenkar. The outcome will surprise you. So please welcome our penultimate speaker, Michal.
There's a beautiful new space in Shenkar. It's the Michal and Avraham Kadar Media Lab. And when you go up these stairs, you'll find this, the Kadar Design and Technology Center. It's a research lab and a creative space where students from all disciplines can work together, physically in the space, to design interactions. To help you understand what I mean by designing interactions, let me take you back to where it all began for me. In '96, I was a psychology student at Tel Aviv University, interested in people and their experiences. To build my psychological experiments, I used a Mac computer for the first time, and a software that allowed me to visually build my experiment, seeing the flow visually. The ease by which myself, as a non-programmer, could use this to program amazed me, and I thought, wow, someone has designed this. Someone designed this interaction. And I said, that is what I want to do in life. My professors were not happy. So a few years later, I'm working in the Israeli high-tech industry, designing software for banking companies, IT companies, animation companies. It's a wonderful job, and the industry is really waking up to this idea that they need people who can design interactions with people in mind. But after a while, the vision of a human being sitting in front of a computer with a keyboard and a mouse seems limited to me. There's so much more that we can do with our body and our senses. I decided to move away from graphical user interfaces and look for a place where I could explore more novel, exploratory interfaces. So my parents were not happy. A few years later, and I'm again a master's student, this time in the north of Italy in an international school of interaction design. I'm creating sonic interfaces, seeing how we can use our hearing in interesting ways in our dialogue with technology. In this project, I created an interface that allows texting using only gesture and sound. So once you learn where the letters are, you don't need your vision at all, and you can find the letters through the gesture and the sonic feedback. And you can use it in the dark, or if you're driving, or if you're visually impaired. My project, and this is called sonic interaction design. My project was shown in many places in the US and Europe, and it got me my dream job offer, a job offer from design studio IDEO. But after thinking about it a while, I decided not to take the job, to the dismay of my European friends, and to go back to Israel and find a way where I can continue exploring new novel interfaces and interactions. So a few years later, I'm in a place called Holon Institute of Technology in Israel. I've set up a kind of makerspace where designers and engineers can work together to design interactions. We get some great projects like this one, where we connected children in the UK and children in Israel through an interactive interface. We chose the simplest thing that we could think of, drawing, with pen on paper. The drawings they fall into this projected world and bounce around and meet shapes created by other children. And this happens both in the UK and in Israel. And the drawings meet in this shared world, so children can identify drawings coming from far away. And they create a kind of a poetic, simple channel of communication through drawing. But the rigid academics at the Institute couldn't really understand what I'm doing. Is it design? Is it technology? You have to choose. Well, no, I don't want to. So 2015, and I finally found my academic home, Shenkar, a place where management really understands the value of working between the disciplines and of the importance of designing interactions that are all around us. This is the Kadar Design and Technology Center 2 weeks ago, when students from 5 different departments were working on projects for El Al, redefining, redesigning the flight experience. For example, you know how you're always scared that your luggage won't arrive? Well, what would happen if your luggage could text you, like a friend, telling you, hey, I'm here, I moved, I'm now in the plane, you know? And doing it in a really fun and friendly way. Or this concept, where the idea is that your destination is already reflected in the departure gate. So music from the destination comes to the departure gate, and the people waiting can play it together. Each person or each station representing one musical instrument in the musical piece. We work with our students to create prototypes, actually build their ideas and test them. So here, an industrial design student and a software engineering student in 7 weeks built a new musical instrument for small children. The idea is to teach them very simply the note system and the idea of harmony. And the physical world, the physical design gives constraints, and these constraints help them to understand the concepts behind. So if you want to elevate the scale, you elevate the track. And if you want to hear another track, you just place it on the table, and they will play simultaneously. Or another project where students created a sweater that heats up. But how do you tell it to heat up? Well, the simple gesture of rubbing is detected by the textile sensors, and the sweater starts heating up on the inside and changing color on the outside. Shenkar is the perfect place to do this kind of work that mixes between human values, material innovation, and technological know-how. So things are really, really amazing. So what else are we going to do in our lab? Well, we're going to look at interactions between people through technology. And everyone knows that social media is the thing now, right? But when I look at how teenagers especially use technology, I'm reminded of some things that I learned in psychology. For example, Instagram. I'm following my favorite celebrities. They're so glamorous. Maybe my life doesn't mean much. Or Facebook. My friends, they're always at the right parties. They're always smiling. Why am I always missing out? Or this idea of like. What do I like? What do people like about me? There's something very narcissistic about it, and I think it makes us vulnerable. So in our lab, we're going to be looking at other kinds of connective interactions. How can we connect people across a distance? Here, two people are in different places. The person in the room sees himself only as a silhouette, and he can see the other person only when their silhouettes overlap. So in order to see each other, they have to move together. And studies show that when people move together, they become more empathic to each other. And the people here are doing it without being instructed to, just by sheer curiosity for each other. So in our lab, we're going to be looking at these kinds of connective interactions, asking how can we connect people across distances, across cultures, and even, hopefully, across closed borders. Thank you.